Hello everyone, MUFS here to welcome you to the 137th episode of Starfield. This is the second run we are doing in Starfield, and as you can see, I am a starboard. So, in the last episode we fought terrormorphs in Jameson in the spaceport, and today we are gonna talk to a lady who's gonna guide us to talk with the factions.
A Vanguard captain. Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require.
Deputy Elizabeth McIntyre.
That must make you my Vanguard captain.
Yes?
Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second in command.
Nice to meet you.
I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude.
You're welcome.
I was also informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the terramorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
Let's pretend that I don't have the slightest idea. They're the repositories for all the banned data from the colony war.
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun.
Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Varun to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
I can guess. What can you tell me about these codes? Can we forge them?
No. Each is a strip of several million random numbers generated on the fly based on biometric keys kept by each of the ambassadors on their person at all times. They're impossible to create without those keys, and those keys stay with the ambassadors, meaning we're accessing nothing if we can't get them on our side.
No problem. I'm just going to need some electrodes, a tooth extractor, and some sodium pentothal. You think they'd be clamoring to help after the spaceport attack?
I couldn't agree more. However, both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here.
Sure.
Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar, or Ambassador Bal'mor of House Varun?
Let's start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Tell me about Ambassador Radcliffe of the Freestar Collective.
The good Ambassador Radcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
If Sam is any example of how stubborn the Freestar people can be, then I can imagine how difficult it must be dealing with this ambassador.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code.
No one can be that stubborn. New Atlantis was just attacked.
Never underestimate the universe's ability to surprise. That's why we have Plan B. UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way in there without being seen.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even convince to work with you.
Any other things? Okay. What can you tell me about this staff member?
Name's Cameron Long. He's younger than Ratcliffe, bears less of a grudge towards the UC. He works closely with the ambassador, making him a promising source for information on the ins and outs of embassy life, and someone who very likely hates her guts.
Any other things I should avoid doing inside the embassy?
Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth things over, but I can't make any promises.
That's all the info I need for the moment on Ambassador Ratcliffe.
All right. Here, your diplomatic ID. I'll give them a heads up you're on your way. Not likely to let you through the door otherwise.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on how to proceed in there.
Okay. I don't want to hear her again. Tell me about Ambassador Bal'mor of House Varun.
Ambassador Bal'mor's a challenge.
Okay, why?
When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Bal'mor stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. Though claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
Why? What's wrong with House Varun?
Well, these days, they're primarily considered a security threat. House Varun Zealots, a fundamentalist outshoot of the group that stayed behind when the rest retreated into seclusion, want nothing more than to send everyone not dedicated to their cause to the great serpent in the sky. But that hasn't always been the case. After they ended the Serpent's Crusade about 70 years back, House Varun did take a real run at trying to normalize relations with the rest of the galaxy. It's why they have an embassy here in the first place, why they were included in the armistice negotiations. But then, without warning, they left, leaving behind, to our knowledge, just the ambassador and his duty under the armistice.
I'm sure he can be reasoned with. House Varun are people, just like us.
Well said. There's no reason to assume they're any worse than us, despite their cultural beliefs.
Exactly.
Of course. But there is another wrinkle.
Huh?
We're not 100% sure Bal'mor is actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice.
What kind of life signs did you detect in the embassy?
The Varun delegation brought more than a few of their native flora with them when they set up in the embassy. It seems those plants have been allowed to flourish, making it hard for us to verify what's flora and what's ambassador.
Wait, has no one actually been inside the embassy?
The embassy is still legally House Varun's sovereign territory, so we're not technically permitted inside. We've snuck in the occasional spy, of course, but the ambassador has proven more evasive than you'd expect for a man of his age. But we're quite sure he hasn't left the city. The man stands out.
What do I do if he's dead?
Then you search the embassy for his biometric key, collect your code piece, and we'll go about notifying his next of kin, if we can ever find them. But let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Here's hoping we are not chasing a corpse.
It would at least be a speedier negotiation. But I, of course, hope the ambassador is alive and well. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks.
You don't
Watch out
say.
for automated security in there.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't already discussed, don't hesitate to ask. I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack is still fresh in her and her staff's mind. Be smart out there, Captain.
Sure. Nova Galactic Manual 3 permanently reduces fuel needed for a grav jump by an additional 1%. I'm gonna take that. Let's go.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Okay, here we
Keeping
go.
the skies safe out there?
Of course.
What? Oh,
So this is the Freestar Collective.
Maybe we should stop for a moment at the memorial. You know, to pay our respects.
Okay.
Hard to believe it's been 2 decades since we were at war with the Collective, when it seems like only yesterday.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Let's change our powers to anti-gravity field. Let's move on.
You are a visitor? You'll find the ambassador in her office. Go on through.
Sure, thank you.
Visitors are only allowed in the lobby, offices, or...
I'm going to be upfront with you. I'm not happy visiting anything related to the Freestar Collective. But you lead, and I'll follow.
Sure. She's over here.
Terramorphs. As in more than one?
Yep.
All that security, and they still can't protect their own spaceport.
Is
UC
Cameron long?
never fails to disappoint. I just wish I hadn't received the news from an SSNN broadcast. We have a strategic advantage to maintain, Mr. Long.
Of course, ma'am. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Excuse me. Are you supposed to be in here?
Guests can make themselves comfortable in the lobby.
Ambassador Evangeline Radcliffe.
I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment?
I'm here on behalf of the United Colonies. We need the Freestar Collective's help.
Ah, you're the one McIntyre called about. The eyewitness. She said you were at the spaceport.
Yes, ma'am.
You have my thanks for what you did down there, truly. Saved many lives. Now, she also mentioned that, and maybe it was just a bad connection, that now the UC wants terramorph data from the Armistice archives, some of the most highly guarded information in the galaxy, in order to protect us all. I can only presume you're here to tell me I misheard her and that they didn't send you, local hero, to futilely beg on their behalf. Tell me I've got that right.
Nope. They send me to beg. Please, please, pretty, please. You need to help us, otherwise any more deaths are on your hand. I'm not gonna say that either. You heard correctly. We need access to the archives.
I was afraid of that. Let me be frank, Captain. The answer is no. That information is there because it is dangerous. I will not be the one responsible for its release. Now, why don't you quit wasting my time and yours, and go?
Ooh, Starborn. Are you serious? there was just an attack on the city. You're really not going to help us?
No, Captain, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. What you experienced down there at the spaceport, I've lived that once before already. Fought tooth and nail as aliens rampaged in the streets of my home and others all throughout the collective. But my aliens were placed there by UC hands. So I'm not interested in anyone getting power like that ever again. The UC most of all.
Let's be the starboard. Let's go with this one. What if I told you that MUFS couldn't be weaponized? Would that change your mind?
You have my answer. Now please take the hint.
Now let's be the starboard. I know what it is you want. Oversight. Monitors will observe all research. Now give me my code.
We'll oversee the research.
Yep.
Guess that takes the whole trust us component out of play, doesn't it? That does seem like a workable idea. Fine. You'll get what you want. Follow me.
Thank you. Come on, Ambassador. You know you want to go.
You're allowed 3 places. Conference room, lobby, or the ambassador's office. You set foot anywhere else, there's going to be problems.
Yeah, I know that.
They tell me it should only take a moment. And there. Here, I'll reach out to Deputy McIntyre. We'll coordinate the necessary oversights. 2 unlikely allies, I guess.
Thank you. That was easy. Aren't you gonna go? You're gonna stay here? I wanted to take this adaptive frame, but... well...
Better think about what you're taking.
yeah, that's the digipics that I took. So... I don't mind stealing digipics. Well, see ya. Now it's time for the House Varun.
Sorry, did I need sign off on... Yes, exactly. It's like...
Keeper
like
Aquilius.
When someone insults you,
So
It's a shame House Varun abandoned their embassy. I bet we could have learned a lot from one another.
Yeah, we could. Let's get inside. What's over here? Well, that's the rooftop, I believe. This is the way to Galbank. Infinity Limited HQ. Okay. We are gonna be visiting this later on in our game. So, for now, let's head inside. Over here. So, what do we have over here? We should be able to find a few House Varun writings, right? The contrabands. I'll look into that. There's a door, but can't open it. And as we all know, this is all we get from here. Okay, let's choose our weapon. Let's use the Maelstrom. Maelstrom. Come, Sarah. Let's go find our ambassador.
This isn't what I expected at all. It appears the flora they were using as decor has overgrown the entire embassy.
It looks like that way. Sure. Okay. That's kind of creepy. Okay. Lobby security computer. We don't need to actually. We'll fight our way.
Like this before in my entire life. It'd actually be more fascinating if its branches weren't blocking my way.
Come on, Sarah. It looks like I'm better off without you, man.
Might as well take what we can.
No worries. We're not gonna take any. But this I'll check. 1 and 2. We need 2, but we won't get 2, right? Why I'm having the feeling that this ain't gonna work. Okay. Come on.
You're done!
Whew. That was crazy. Varun Scripture 6 permanently increases sneak bonus by additional 1% and melee sneak attack damage by an additional 5%. Let's take that. Okay. Varun Heretic Writings. This was what I was looking for. You gave me creeps, man. This is Okay, we have collected everything. Let's go. How did you manage to get inside over there? Where did it go? You're gonna come at me, right? What's now? Have to go upstairs. Writings. How did they merge together? What was that? That wasn't what I think that was. That was a kind of ammunition, right? The last one I took, I believe so. Okay, one thing I forgot to tell you guys, that's a very funny thing, is that in my own game, in my own profile that I'm playing for my own self, there I did get chameleon for my suit, right? I told you that. And over here, over there, let's get out of here. Okay, so over there I found chameleon suit for my own starborn suit, this one, and the one that Sarah is using, Mantis, it is like that one is not chameleon, whereas over here I got that one as chameleon. So I thought that was funny. So I'll be back for a okay, so to the basement then. Checked everything over here. I did not get. Yeah.
Don't
I
leave
thought
any
so.
of that behind.
Nope. I ain't gonna. So let's go to the basement. Lead the way. Let's restore our health as we go. Okay. So, there is a door. Requires key.
So, what seems punishment becomes providence. A reminder we can never truly know the Great Serpent's designs for us. You have my thanks, and my apologies for the ordeal you just endured. Come, let us discuss.
Sure. Sarah,
Yeah?
can you wait here for a moment?
I'll be right here.
I'll be talking with him, but not before we collect these things. Rivet, aluminum, Astra, credits, fluorine. Should be epic heavy. Let's get that. What else can we get? The credit stick, obviously. Nothing over here. Oh, this is a master lock. Let's try to open it. Credits, reactive gauge. That's it. Nothing else. Varun storeroom keycard. I'll take that. What else? Okay, personal computer. Let's use it. Log 01 arrival. Yesterday marked the beginning of my tenure as House Varun's ambassador in the United Colonies. I arrived full of hope, believing our gesture of opening this new embassy would demonstrate that we had moved beyond our blood-stained past. But we had barely been in New Atlantis an hour when the troubles ahead of me began to reveal themselves. Our brief walk from the spaceport to the embassy was marked by suspicious glances and sneers from numerous strangers on the street. I fear minds here will not be easily changed. The wrongdoing of House Varun will not be so easily forgotten. It is my fervent wish that this embassy will come to be seen as an emblem of a peaceful future, free of the stains and prejudice of and violence. I will do my utmost to act as an avatar for that goal, regardless of any resistance I may face. Though I find myself in a strange land, I know the Great Serpent will guide us to success in our endeavor. Protests. This morning, I was roused from contemplating prayer by the sound of muffled shouting. Upon investigation, I discovered a sizable group of United Colonies citizens engaged in a protest on my doorstep. They are opposed to their government's attempts to establish diplomatic ties with House Varun and are petitioning for the immediate shuttering of the embassy. My attempts to engage them in discussion were fruitless. Most would not speak with me, and those who did refused to believe that our intentions in New Atlantis were purely peaceful. The embassy guards were eventually required to intervene, forcing me back into the building when the crowd's anger began to manifest as threats to my well being. I intend to discuss this matter with my counterparts in the United Colonies. Their aid will be essential if this effort is to succeed, though I fear this will not be an isolated incident. A visitor. Each day my frustration grows. Great Serpent, what have I done to merit such scorn? Recently, Sia Mavin arrived at my embassy to receive a visit from such a high-ranking priestess, a Gravit no less, with the intention of engaging in talks with the United Colonies. I was overjoyed. Such a gesture from the house could only mean those skeptical of our efforts could at long last see merit in our work. But it seems I was deceived. Sia's stated mission and her actual intentions are clearly at odds. She has refused every opportunity to engage with representatives from the United Colonies. Instead, she speaks incessantly about the need to surveil the very diplomats whose trust I have dedicated months of effort to gaining. She remains trapped in our old mindset, unable to see what it is we are actually doing here, guaranteeing House Varun's future. The losses from the Serpent's Crusade were incalculable. Calculable. Diplomacy is the only method through which House Varun's survival may be assured. I must find a way to make Sia see this. Luckily, I believe tonight's dinner will be the perfect opportunity. Our UC host, Deputy Diplomat Roland, is level-headed, reasonable, I dare say even sympathetic, a rare animal among the UC. If prior experience is to be any indicator, if Sia approaches him with open arms, I have faith that he would embrace her as a comrade. Great Serpent, let this come to pass. Dinner. Great Serpent, is this a test of my faith? Do you truly wish to plumb the depths of my loyalty? What other explanation could merit why you would permit such a spectacular disaster? Dinner at Deputy Roland's was initially promising, even congenial. Yes, there were pointed questions about House Varun's intentions, but overall an air of polite decorum was maintained. But it was when one of Roland's more boisterous guests, an officer of some type, perhaps having enjoyed one too many glasses of Chandra, asked, "But how can we trust you snakes after what you did?" That I believed the Gravit reached her breaking point. They were only words, but words are the battlefield on which diplomacy is fought. And I realized too late that this was a salvo Sia would not let pass. As dessert was served, Sia excused herself. We waited for her return, and waited, and waited. When it had become clear that Gravit had simply left, I met my pleasantries and rushed back to the embassy. There, I found her packing her things. When I asked where she was going, she stated simply, "I have seen all I need to." And she left without another word. I have reached out to my contacts back at Dezra, who have assured me that they still believe in the venture, that Jarek Varun himself still believes, and that is all the reassurance I require. A test of faith. The last of my staff have left today. Our embassy now effectively shuttered. House Varun's leaders have seized all communications with the United Colonies. Our own orders from Dazra were not much better, standing as a single word: return. No other reason mentioned for our abandonment of our post, for the abandonment of our cause. But I know a test of faith when I see one. I serve House Varun. A simple understanding of that directive would be that I follow their orders. But what do what we do here is greater than that. If we are to survive, it cannot be on our own. If others refuse to see that, so be it. So here I stand, waiting for the day that they all see the truth and come back. Silence. There has been no word from my people in months. I have made several attempts at contacting them, but I am uncertain of my messages are reaching Dazra at all. As such, I have had much time to think. Why allow us to come here, make a home for ourselves around a distant star, only to demand our return when the first bit of resistance is met? Because of some drunken slight? Even Sia is not that influential among the court. No, there is something larger at play here. The recalling of the staff. It wasn't because of the incident with the gravid. A change has occurred. Yet, by staying, I now may never know what it is. Only time will tell. Spies. It seems it's been quite some time since my last entry. A welcome bit of exercise today. A United Colonies spy snuck inside the embassy. Just before dawn, as I finished my morning prayers, I heard an odd thrum. At first, I presumed my hearing was finally giving out, but then I realized what it was. It was the elevator descending. Presuming uninvited guests could mean only bad things, I snuck upstairs and hid among the branches of the venom tree. I watched like a gargoyle perched on a parapet as the young man stalked cautiously through the branches of the tree I'd spent so much time cultivating, obviously scared beyond his wits. At one point, an errant branch snapped as he passed, and I swear the boy leaped a foot into the air before realizing its source beneath. I was shocked that the mere idea of House Varun could still garner such fear, even this long after the end of the Serpent's Crusade. It would have been amusing if it wasn't such a clear reminder of the failure of my own endeavor. We evaded each other like this for the better part of 2 hours. It was a welcome distraction from a life now steeped in routine. He eventually gave up, returned to the elevator, and I to my meditation. As I think on it now, however, the purpose of the visit is exceedingly disappointing. This was no diplomat, no neighborly knock on the door. This was a spy, someone breaking into somewhere a normal soul couldn't. They think me dead, don't they? Surprising message. It's happened. The message was short, a simple request for information regarding the state of things in New Atlantis, but filled me with relief nonetheless. House Varun has contacted me at long last. I had been forced to harden my heart to the possibility that I may never hear from my people again. Today's message assuaged that fear. Though their intentions remained unclear, I am comforted by House Varun's willingness to re-engage in communication. I am hopeful that it signifies Dazra's willingness to return to more earnest attempts at diplomacy with the United Colonies. Great Serpent, you answer my prayers at last. I stand firm in my belief that it will be at my side as I continue to serve House Varun's interests in New Atlantis. May his celestial light bathe my people and those we once stood against and helped to usher in an area Era of harmony at last. So that was the last one. Let's go retrieve Sarah. Oh, okay, we can visit the storeroom without any one of them and look at the things what we can get. Not bad. Master lock. Let's open it. I can put you and you. Oh no. Okay, we have two of them we can use. I can use you, but then I don't have anything else. What can we get over here? I believe we are done.
If that was not.
I'll take you, credits, whiteout cartridge.
There must be something they don't want us to find.
Yeah, that is why we are taking that. House Varun spacesuit? No, thank you. We'll get them later on. High tensile speed run. I have never seen this. Unique organic resource. This item can be used as a component in crafting. Sure. Taken everything. So we can go. We can't take anything from there. And if I'm not wrong, there are a few things we can grab from this side. Let's grab them. And we'll be on our own way. Sarah.
Can I help?
Let's get moving.
Lead the way.
So we heard the lore. Now let's talk to Ambassador Quasric Bal'mor.
Not the ideal introduction, I suppose, giving you a grand tour of the embassy via barely functioning intercoms. I do greatly appreciate your persistence. I suspect the Venom tree upstairs has worked itself into more systems than I'd realized. But then again, who could cage such a beauty? Tell me though, what is it like outside? I heard the broadcast mentioning an attack. Then the embassy was struck with a power surge and then silence. Has the rest of the city suffered quite so badly?
Is that what happened here? A power surge?
I take it you didn't have such an experience where you were then, hmm? Yes, the entire embassy was thrown into lockdown, trapping me in my quarters, disabling the Venom tree's filters, and arming the defenses. A disconcerting experience, to say the least. Was the rest of the city spared?
Did you say that thing pouring out clouds upstairs is called a Venom tree? Is it poisonous?
Harmless spores, you have my word, but hard to navigate. Hence why I was guiding you through the intercoms to restore the environmental controls and release me.
Okay.
It is the sap of the tree that gives it its... well, perhaps not a topic for this exact moment. But I must know of the rest of the city. Does it still stand?
The spaceport is in rough shape, but not much else was damaged.
Is that right, huh? I shall need to have these repairs seen to sooner rather than later. Now, it cannot solely be the Serpent's grace that brought you here at such an opportune moment. You were sent by the UC. That much is obvious. Who else could just waltz through my door?
The spy?
And the broadcast spoke of terror morphs at the spaceport.
Yep.
A worrying occurrence, certainly, but coming here of all places, when all I could provide is some enthused cheerleading and... an archive code.
Yep.
So the UC requires information, then. On terror morphs, presumably, Do I see this all clearly?
Bingo. Hand over your code so I can get out this place. Correct. We are going to use the data in the archives to better understand and stop these attacks.
The preservation of life stands as the very purpose of the archives. Using its data to prevent more attacks, there is logic there.
There is.
But if I am to grant you access, I have a requirement.
Please proceed.
For years, House Varun has been known only as an agent of slaughter. We founded this embassy with hopes of shedding that legacy.
I can understand.
With little success. In exchange for my code, I require this. You must be the one who ensures it is used for good. Ensure House Varun's legacy is more than just carnage. The knowledge you ask for isn't evil. No knowledge is. It is we who bend it to evil ends.
Absolutely.
Oh, you must assure me this will be used to save lives, not endanger them.
Knowledge can't be evil? What about the knowledge of, say, gunpowder?
A fine counterexample. Responsible for the deaths of millions on ancient Earth. And, fireworks?
Yeah.
Absolutely capable of being put to vile ends, but not evil in itself. And here you are with a similar conundrum. I might be willing to support you if I knew I would not be tarnishing the legacy of House Varun by doing so.
You have my word. I will make sure it's used for good.
As the chair of Constellation, I take personal responsibility in vouching for this man's integrity. He'll keep his word.
Thank you, Sarah.
Well then, I shall not fear. Please, follow me.
We should have a talk. When you have the time, of course.
Of course. We are gonna talk.
Let's hope it still works. And there. Let it be used for good.
Thank you, sir. We'll be meeting you. I don't think we are gonna meet you again in the playthrough. So, we didn't check these. Let's go, Sarah. Uh-oh. Let's go and let him be with his embassy. Which way? Okay, it's this way. I remember it. And this is the good one, right? It was a good run. We are done over here. Let's go. Sarah? Let's go get out of here. Oh, she wanted to talk to me. Sarah.
I have an important personal decision to make. But I need to discuss something with you first.
Sure. Have I done something wrong?
No, not at all. This is something that's been weighing on my mind for a long time. I was hoping if I talked about it with you, I could get your opinion. That's all.
Sure, fire ahead. If it will help you decide, I'm here to listen.
Phew, thank you. So, where to start? Before I was with the Navigator Corps, I was career military, part of the United Colonies Navy. When the colony war broke out, I was posted as the chief navigator on a warship, the Dauntless.
Okay. That's pretty close to captain, right?
In my case, I was third in command, which has a lot to do with the story. There was a particularly bloody battle. We were fighting over a world in the Eta Cassiopeia system. Worst fighting I'd ever seen. We lost 12 ships that day. 12. Including my own.
Why the Cassiopeia system?
Economic reasons. Several of the worlds in the Cassiopeia system were mineral rich. Both sides wanted to drop refinery outposts on the surface to bolster their supply.
Hundreds of lives must have been lost.
I'm well aware how many lives were lost. Now let me finish.
Sure.
The ship was barely intact. The captain and first mate died the previous day, which put me in command. A shrewd captain would have called for the crew to abandon ship, but I was so angry. I wanted to stay. I needed to fight.
Despite the damage, your ship still had the ability to fight?
The Dauntless was a tough little ship. No shields and the hull was breached, but it still had power. And weapons. That's why I remained in the battle. Huge mistake.
I would have done the same.
I believe you. But you haven't heard the worst of this. We fought for hours, but the damage was fatal. I gave the order to abandon ship and the crew piled into the escape shuttle. As the shuttle launched, I could see it was damaged. I heard screams before the radio cut. And last thing I saw, they were spiraling helplessly towards the planet's surface. There was nothing I could do.
The Dauntless was too far gone to save your crew?
The ship barely had enough power for comms and life support. All I could do was watch them die.
Why weren't you on the shuttle with them?
It was my duty as acting captain to be the last person to leave the Dauntless. We had more than one escape shuttle available. So, I elected to wait until they were safe.
My condolences to your crew.
Thank you. But condolences can't reverse what I've done. I was caught up in the moment. An inexperienced captain making rash decisions that cost people their lives.
What did your superiors say about your actions?
My superiors? When the dust settled, the United Colonies gave me a medal. Can you believe that? A damn medal. I never even had a chance to find the shuttle wreckage and give my crew a proper burial.
How did you get off of the Dauntless?
After I checked every section of the ship for wounded crew, I took the other escape shuttle. If I hadn't, I would have died. The Dauntless came apart minutes after I escaped.
At least you're still alive to honor their legacy.
That's true. But still, it doesn't erase the real issue here. You once told me that the military might not have been my calling. You don't know how right you were. Don't you get it? Everything I do, everything I touch, somehow falls apart. That's why I'm worried about us.
Why? Worried about us?
Look, it's clear the two of us are becoming more than partners. We're becoming close friends. Even though I've pushed people away in the past, I feel different when I'm around you. I feel safer, comfortable, not afraid to admit who I am. I'm terrified I'm going to screw that up.
Well, I'm gonna be the bad guy this time, you know. I'm gonna marry all of them, so... There's little you could say that would change my opinion about you.
You still have faith in me. I don't even know what to say. I never realized how much you cared about me.
Let's flirt. That's because I'm falling in love with you, Sarah.
You know, I've spent a lot of time thinking about us, about our relationship, how we've clearly become close. I practiced what I was going to say when the moment was right, and now that it's here, my mind's gone blank. Look, you deserve the best. Someone who can give themselves to you entirely. But right now, I have too much baggage, too much on my mind. I hope you'll forgive me for pushing you away. I just need time.
Sure. No worries. And here we are out of the embassy. But look at the time. So, that's it for this episode. If you're not a sub, please consider subscribing because that is my fuel. And while you subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. If you liked the video, don't forget to press the thumbs up button. But if you did not, well, in that case, you can press the thumbs down button, but I'll highly urge you not to do that. I hope to see you guys in the next episode because as you can see, Sarah has opened up and we are gonna do her mission very soon. I don't know how soon, but it will be soon enough. I really hope to see you guys there and in the upcoming mission of the terror morph that we are fighting. I hope to see you guys there. Till then, stay safe, take care, and bye-bye. MUFS signing off.